Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Spincast. Today, we are diving back into the community side of esports with a community caster in mainly Rainbow Six Siege, starting to branch off into some Valor as well. This is Kyle, also known as ToKacey. So without further ado, ToKacey, kind of go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell us about your past, where your passions really started in the esports realm, and how that took you to where you are currently in all your different projects casting.
All right. Well, hey guys. As he said, my name is Kyle, but I go by name ToKacey online. It's a little bit of a background story and homage to my old nickname, but that's not too important. I am a kind of like a tier 3 community caster for Rainbow Six Siege, involved with a couple of tier 3 leagues. And I've been doing this for about a year and a half about a year and a half now. And it's been a ride to say the least. And the reason I say that is because through casting, I have really been able to gain a bond with a lot of people. Now, originally, I started out back in the watching the U.S. Nationals for Rainbow Six Siege back in 2018, December. And I was like, okay, I've really wanted to be involved in esports. I was only 17 at the time. I was like, I got to get involved somehow, but I don't know how. Because I don't have the mechanical skill to play. I can't sit down. I can't, grind scrim for 8-9 hours a day. I'm sure anyone can say, you can. It's tough for me, as is for many people.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always gotten told that I have a pretty good voice. I was like, hey, this is a way I can get involved in esports. So I tried casting a little bit, just did some jokes, some mock casts with some buddies of mine. And they're like, hey, you're actually not that bad at this. You should file something in. So back when ESL still ran Rainbow Six Siege, beginning in February of 2019, I sent in, 4 mock games, 2v2s, 3v3s with some of my friends. And give it about 2-3 weeks, they got back to me and they said, hey, we like what you do. You're on board. I was a community caster for the PlayStation 4. At the time in North America, there were only 2 console casters, myself and another guy named Racers, who's also very involved with tier 2, tier 3 scene for Siege. But it was really the point in time that I was like, wow, I can actually make something of this. So, I started doing a few of the community cups, the Go4s, the monthly finals, that kind of stuff. And all was well, but I didn't actually have a computer by any means. I had a small laptop that if I tried to run something on, I would probably get 10 frames.
Yeah.
And that just wasn't going to work. So I did it directly from my PS4, which in hindsight was actually a really bad move because there was no delay. And looking back on a couple of the VODs, I'm like, hey, these people were probably stream sniping me and looking for the other people.
Yeah.
So that was way back when. I stopped doing PS4 for a while, and then I got involved with a couple of our small console leagues that did their own production. I got involved in an Xbox league. I've never owned an Xbox in my life, but I casted for an Xbox league more than I've casted for any other league at this point in time. But got involved there. They really helped me grow, helped me, become one of my own. And from there, about a month and a half, 2 months ago, I finally got a PC and really branched out into the PC side of Rainbow Six Siege. Well, really to say any esport is mainly branched out on PC, except maybe Call of Duty. I think they're doing PlayStation right now. During this time, these past 2 months, the branching out, the networking, the connections I've made have really altered my life in a crazy way, to say the least. Casting, even at the small level that I am, I'm not a tier 2 caster. I'm just tier 3 community. It's really helped me meet a lot of new people. And these past couple months, I've really been, developing my skill, trying to perfect what I do so I can get as high as I possibly can. And as Kyle over here said at the beginning of this, I am slowly but surely branching out into Valorant. I recently did some casting with Spin, stay plugged in, to do their bi-weekly Valorant tournament, and that's a lot of fun. I find that casting and using my voice in esports is something that I find much more enjoyable than the stress of competing. Because when it comes to casting, when it comes to hosting, observing, producing, whatever you do on the talent side of things, the only thing you have to worry about really is you. You don't have to worry about if your team's going to do the right thing. You don't have to worry about if you're going to win or lose, how much money's on the line. because you get to do what you love for whatever you want. If they pay you, then obviously it's cool. But if they don't pay you, if you love it, if like me, I'm still growing. I don't really have any paid positions right now, and that is why I still do it though. I love it. I love what I do. Observers, they love what they do. Producers, they love what they do. But me personally, I don't want to branch out into the competitive side. I don't want to be on the other side of competition. I imagine it'd be cool playing on a stage in front of thousands of people, but that's not me.
Yeah.
I like being on the talent side of things. Yeah. And that being said, I was able to find a lot more opportunities because I'm on talent side of things. There's always people looking to start new leagues, always people looking to grow. And the first time, actually, just a few days ago, I had someone turn to me and say, "Hey, how do you like my casting? Can you critique me?"
Yeah.
And I would not view myself by any means as someone who is that high up, but just the past 2 months, really, I've been able to grow a lot. Sorry, I know I'm kind of bouncing back and forth a lot here, but I just have to stress that if you want to get into the talent side of esports, get a reliable computer. Not saying you have to get one that can be top of the line and play everything at 200 frames. I'm just saying get something. If you're over the age of 18, you can finance something and you're really able to break into the esports world and make a lot more connections really quickly.
100%. Couldn't agree more on a number of those points. Really love it. Like, really emphasizing the love, right? Esports, as we all know, like there's a ton of revenue still to be gained, and a lot of places are really operating for free work, just because esports is still so new, right? It's been around for maybe 5, 6, 7 years, but really in the last 2 years is really, we saw a lot of spikes where it's not only League of Legends, Dota, and CS:GO anymore. It's you got Rainbow Six, you got Rocket League, and a number of other games that are starting to explode, but it's still so new. So love to see that, that dedication and passion behind it. A couple of things I wanted to pick apart there. You talked a lot about this sense of community building, right? I think in esports, sometimes it gets a negative twist, a negative stereotype that there's toxic communities and that kind of stuff. So talk us through, any particular experience that you can really show the positive side of the community and how much networking and friends that you've made through gaming on the talent side of casting and production in that little world.
Well, first thing I want to touch on is what you said. You said there's a bit of toxicity. There's toxicity everywhere. There's always going to be people who are negative. They're going to try to ruin other people's lives or just make it unenjoyable for them for their own pleasure, which I don't get at all. But I stick away from that side. Most recently, in the past 2 months, I first started out by joining up with a small streamer, someone I've been watching for a while, got into their Discord and started talking to a lot of people, made a whole new group of friends. And then from there, I started branching into other Discords, and I was able to meet some people who are more like the tier 2 casting level. Most notably, I would have to say, is it okay if I say names?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Actually, someone you just recently had on the Spincast, Red Cube, and also another man named Caliber Jacob. They're both kind of tier 2 casting for Rainbow Six Siege, and I have found that their friendship, although I don't talk to them that much, is very valuable. I have made friends through them already. Some people who I think I can envision my life for a very long time in terms of friendship. And also mainly I was, I'm slowly but surely, making friends with people even in the tier 1 scene that I would have never imagined myself being friends with. I don't know if you guys know Veli. He used to do Gears of War, but now he's involved in Rainbow Six Siege. He is the main host, not the main host. He's one of the main analysts for the North American Rainbow Six Siege League, and he does Twitch Rivals a lot. In the past month and a half, I have been able to connect with him and talk to him, and he's given me a lot of solid advice. I have been able to feel a sense of bond and friendship with him and the community surrounding him. And it's all absolutely wild because, all these people 3 months ago, before I got my computer, or 4 months ago better, when I was at the 6th Invitational, the hat kind of gives it away. I was at the major event that they have every year in Montreal. I saw these people and I was like, wow, these are my idols. These are the people I look up to. If you're an actor, you probably look up to a lot of, high level actors, maybe like Leonardo DiCaprio, Johnny Depp, some of those people. Brad Pitt, maybe, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But to now be here 3-4 months later, talking to them, communicating with them, it's like, wow, this is really weird. You really get to know people on a little bit more of a personal level. And you come to find out that really a lot of people, they're just down to be your friend. They're down to just they're hang out with you, play some games, talk, whatever.
Yep.
So I guess I'm going to kind of end this part of the podcast off with advice. Just don't be shy to just join into the public Discord channel. Don't be shy to just hop in or DM someone and say, hey, you want to play some games?
Yeah.
Because in reality, even if you look up to them, they'll probably be like, yeah, sure. If you're on the competitive side, if you are a player and you're messaging, like the top players, you think, like Bolo, like Canadian, you're probably not going to get to play with them as often because, they do a lot more scrims, they do a lot more training, all that stuff.
Yep.
But, at least on the talent side, I feel like a lot of people are a little bit more chill.
Yeah. Literally 100% agree there with that community outside of those players, right? Because the players, it really is, I mean, I'm sure they put in 60, 70 hours a week into it, right? It's not a question that they don't want to, they just don't have the time, right? But the community is so embracive at the higher levels of esports in general that I think, like you said at the beginning, that, toxicity gives it a bad rap to the public, right? And, that's kind of the point of these conversations and discussions, is to bring out the good, right? Look at all the opportunities that you've been placed just by, reaching out, networking, garnering some friendships, and then boom, look where you are now. Such a great little, mini success story there. Hope to see it continue into the fall and maybe even North American League, new season. I love the new setup for Siege on that note too. It's really great to see it kind of funnel over itself a bit. Talking, you've been talking a lot about dividing the PC scene from console scene, right? So talk to us a little bit about some of your personal opinions surrounding, why is it so important to have that PC for esports in general, right? I'm not going to answer it for you, but I have my own thoughts. But really kind of just share the light of like where the difference between, you get the console, more casual gamers in majority on average, and then your PC is more for the dedicated players. And also you get a number of, opportunities off that from the talent production side.
Yeah, well, I mean, you really did say it best right there.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, consoles, they are great for, making friends, playing online, your school, say you're at school, if you're watching this, you're in middle school, high school, college, whatever, you and your buddies that you hang out with all the time. It's a lot easier and a lot more straightforward to, just hop on your PlayStation, hop on your Xbox, whatever you have, and just play some games with them. But in reality, if you want to get involved in esports, not including Call of Duty, because like I said, they're really, really, console sided.
They have a pretty big agreement signed with Sony.
But everything else really takes place on PC. You don't have room to expect a lot if you want to branch out in your own console. We have the controller warriors, which are the top people in rank, the top people who play the top console leagues. But they're not, unless they transfer over to PC and get rocking with a keyboard and a mouse, they're not going to be making it that far. There are a lot of people who have dreams and aspirations of making it on console. And, I wish that there was more support for console, but it's just not as big as the PC scene is. I remember back in year one, season 1 of Rainbow Six Siege, there was a whole lot of support for console players. There at the Six Invitationals, like I said, the big event, there was an entire Xbox bracket that a lot of the pro players who are currently on PC right now played it. I don't remember exactly who it was that won the World Championship for Xbox, but it's, they're on, it's someone on Space Station. One of the winners. Bosco, that's it. That's who it was. But really, after the support was dropped, it was a divided community. It was the Xbox people who were wanting to stay and say, hey, bring back support for us. Let us, compete at that same level. And then the PC, I'm sorry, I just hit my mic. I don't know if that caught or not.
No, you're
but
good.
Then there are the PC side of people who say, oh, yeah, I'll transfer over here because I love this game. I'll do anything to play this game. it's really just about dedication, the money you have, and where you want to go with this. Because when it comes down to it, if you're not willing to make the transfer, it's more, how do I say this? If you're not, sorry, you may want to cut this out, but if you don't want to make the transfer, then you're not going to, get the success that you want. You're not going to be the one rising to fame and fortune, having tens of thousands of dollars in your bank for playing video games. You're going to be stuck there. You're going to be trying your best, but you're going to be playing for leagues that probably have a maximum payout of like $2,500.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to see yourself, playing professionally, making it your full-time job, unless you're playing Call of Duty, you're not making it anywhere. Yeah. I hate to say it. I'm going to have a lot of people who see this, a lot of people from PlayStation, Xbox that see this, they're going to come for my throat. And if you're having a good time, roll with it. If you love playing on your Xbox and you love playing at the level of competition you do it. Enjoy it. Play with your friends, play with your teammates, play with your buddies, whoever it is you're playing with. But if you want to make it full time, you have to make the switch. Yep. And then that's just on the competitive player part. On the talent side of things is a whole different story. The Call of Duty League, they don't do everything. They don't do all their commentating, all their observing, all their production from console. Okay, well, observing they do from console. Mm-hmm. But everything else, they don't do that from console. PlayStations, Xboxes, they don't have the massive power that they have. They use high-end production software to stream that out on multiple computers. So if you want to get into the talent side, you have to learn how to use that computer to the best of your ability. What are you going to use it for? Are you going to use it just for casting? Do you want to actually play some other games? Are you going to use it for your production? Are you going to use it for your observing? What is it that you're doing? Mm-hmm. You need to make the switch eventually if you want to go super duper far in the competitive world.
Yeah,
esports world.
Couldn't agree more. And then a lot of it comes down to that mechanical side of just the actual hardware, and also the community too, right? Like you were touching on earlier, the community for PC most of the time is very competitively driven, so to say, right? Because it enables you to be, a producer or an observer, and enables you to stream, right? Streaming off a console, I mean, you can get something out of it, but not a whole lot, not near as much as a medium to high end PC for sure.
Yeah.
So, number of things. That I totally agree there. Kind of looking towards the future, we do have to wrap up here in a few minutes. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. Looking towards the future, from your past experience that you do have casting, where do you hope to see kind of the production world lean towards, right? What opportunities do you hope to kind of capture for yourself? What plans do you have to really keep moving your talent and skills to the next level, and so on and so forth?
Well, talking right now, this is going to be mainly based around Rainbow Six Siege. Siege, the Pro League scene, was recently acquired by Faceit, at least for North American production and a couple other forms of production. Mm-hmm. They don't have a lot of, they don't. Sorry, let me backtrack right here.
You're good.
Faceit, who recently acquired Rainbow Six Siege, they currently don't show a lot for the community casters, the tier 2, tier 3, whoever. All they have shown right now is going to be the top tier for esports talent, which has already been signed. There are 7 people, 4 casters, 1 host, and 2 analysts that are currently working their desks from home. They would be on LAN in Las Vegas. But those are the only 7 people that we know for sure are going to be doing anything on the talent side. Even the top Challenger League casters, the Tier 3 casters, the community casters that want to be involved, we don't know what's happening with them yet. So we just want Faceit to be a little more transparent, but obviously they're still just getting set up with Siege and everything. I imagine next couple weeks we're going to see that for myself and for everyone else in the PC esports talent scene. I really hope that soon we're able to get some sort of community caster list, or we're able to get put on the list. We're able to observe these weekly tournament games. That's what we want. Mm-hmm. That's what I want. That's what we want. That's what everybody wants. Even some of the tier 1 people who it's, if we're being quite honest, it has nothing to do with them. Mm-hmm. Because, they're top of the top. They're, the number ones. They're the people who are being paid the big bucks to, go commentate and go cast esports live. They're still chanting for us though. Mm-hmm. They still say, hey, we all started somewhere. Let the community have their chance. If you're going to limit us right now to just what we see on tier 1, it's going to be a lot more of the smaller leagues forming, which is to say the tier 3 leagues that are currently forming, like AGN, the one I cast for. Then there are a couple others, CGL, CCS, those leagues. The lower leagues are going to be the ones that rise up. That's where the tier 1 is going to have to pick their talent from, if it's not, another already well-established caster in the community.
Yeah. Number of things there. Really great perspective there that I always like to say, it's kind of like that reverse trickle-down effect, right? If you have the support for tier 3 and the support for tier 2, then you can really help foster not only talent, but the players too. You can foster everyone that wants to be involved for esports. Because we've been saying a lot, like what you see on the screen is not just the players, right? You have the observers, the producers, the director, the casters, the personnel behind the scenes doing the technological works, right? All the logistical and managerial people that bring everything together to make sure everyone's in the right place at the right time. Having that support at every level so people can start somewhere and then build and build and build and build and build. It just fosters, I think, that in picture to be way better, right? That way, you have this really diverse scene from top to bottom. Everyone gets their shot, and then obviously you get the best of the best going to the top, and then people finding their home somewhere in between there as well. So absolutely love to see it there. Yeah. Unfortunately, we have run out of time. Great inputs here today. Hopefully on some of our longer podcast series that we will be starting soon, that you can come back on as a guest and we can really dive into maybe the Siege scene particularly, and then even track your progress as you continue to grow. Because you said earlier, you do cast for Spin and a number of other places. We all have our eyes watching everywhere. So it is exciting to see the future of esports right now when it's so primed for success. So one last thing, ToKacey, go ahead, plug yourself. Tell us where we can find you. If we ever want to reach out for any casting opportunities or just watch you cast.
So right now, how it's listed on the screen, wherever it is, I think probably under my cam right now, how my name is spelled at ToKacey, ToKacey, on Twitter and on Twitch. I stream Valorant on Twitch because my PC cannot stream Siege for the life of it. But otherwise, just follow me on Twitter. I'm very active on there. I'm very responsive. If you want to shoot me a DM, if you want to tag me in something, if you want to just follow me, like my stuff, anything is appreciated. If you do follow me on Twitter, just stay tuned. I got a couple of big things coming up, and I hope to involve Spin on it as well.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. We are excited to see you cast more and more, especially in the Valorant and maybe even Siege in the future. Never know. We have some stuff underneath our belts as well. So to all the viewers and listeners watching this, thank you so much for tuning in and staying around for the entire time. Everyone out there, stay healthy and stay happy in the current pandemic. Hopefully things can return to some sense of normalcy soon. And ultimately, stay plugged in.